familiar with the story of the Makos and the process of Yetzias Mitzrayim. And at first glance, it's very difficult to understand why Hashem chose this way to free the Jewish people. After all, what you have is a situation set up where Paro's consent is required, and yet Hashem hardens his heart so that he is unable to consent. So what's the point of that? Why not just allow him to consent, or free Bnei Israel without his consent? What is the significance of requiring Paro's consent and yet hardening his heart so that he's unable to do so until the very end, when he finally is brought to his knees and allowed to consent? Really, he may have consented before. Hashem hardened his heart. If not for the fact that Hashem hardened his heart, he would have been brought to his knees earlier. But it's only at Makas Becharos that Hashem allows that to happen. In the meantime, we're waiting for this game to be played out, to the point that Hashem allows Paro to consent to letting the Jewish people go. There are different answers to this question. I'd like to share with you one proposal by Rav Yehuda Amital. He said the Torah is teaching us something significant about the nature of freedom and the nature of slavery. He says, over the course of this process, Bnei Israel are becoming more and more free. They no longer have the Mitzrim making decisions for them. They get to decide who they're going to be and what they're going to do. Paro is undergoing the opposite process. Paro is becoming more and more of an Eved, because he doesn't get to make his own decisions anymore. He may even know exactly what needs to happen and yet be unable to make that decision. And says Rav Amital, the definition of who is the Melech, who is the Ben Chorin, who is the Eved, is not determined by who's in the palace and what clothes you're wearing. If you're forced to put on the crown and to take it off at specific times, you have no ability to make your own decisions, you're just an Eved. And that's the exact opposite of what Paro made himself out to be, which was a god. And in contrast, the Jewish people are becoming free. For the first time, Achoresh says, Lachem, as the Sforno says, Lachem, that you get to make your own decisions. The time is yours. And the Jewish people willingly use that freedom to become Avdei Hashem. That, in a sense, is a form of Avdus as well, but it's totally the opposite of what we're talking about here, because it is a choice that they make of their own free will. They have the ability to make choices. They are becoming Bnei Chorin, whereas Paro, the Melech, turns out to be the Eved, all in a display of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's power and an educational process with which we understand what it means to be a Ben Chorin. What it means is to have the ability to choose, to have the ability to decide how we want to use our life and our time, and hopefully to use that for the good and to make the decisions to use our life in a meaningful way.